Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today we got another jungle yard to tackle. This is the backyard. We got the neighbor's fence line there. We got more grass and some bushes that need to be trimmed. Here's the side yard here. Let me flip the camera real quick. Here's a better view for you. We got some dogs that love me. And it's quite open, so we are able to use our big equipment. We need to be careful because there is stuff in the yard, like random pots and pans and trash, and also this spigot right here. Walking through it, man, it gets taller right over here. I don't even know what kind of weed this is. I'll have to look it up, or if it's just grass, I guess. But look at that, it's gone to seed, and this stuff right here is as tall as me. Now, you don't believe me? Check this out. Freestanding, well, it's getting in my chin, all right? This stuff is tall, no joke. This is gonna be a fun one. I'm glad I found it, and I'm glad I'm able to help out these people in this home. I knocked on the door and a young lady opened, and she said that she is allergic to grass, and her roommates work night shifts. They all work kind of separate shifts to where no one can really maintain it. I don't even think they have a mower, maybe something in the garage, but kind of boarded up. Not too sure what's going on there. I'm not gonna ask. I'm just here to help, here to provide. That's exactly what we're gonna be doing today. Hope you stick around to the end for the amazing before and after pictures. Anyways, let's begin working. check this out. Where is all this coming from? Yep. That's why you put screens on your vents. You go to the hardware store, they sell screens for all of these little vents. Those flaps don't do anything. They break off, wind gets a hold of them, and then the birds fly in. They'll make their way into your vents. Then they'll make nests, and at night you'll hear little birds going, and you're like, where's that coming from? Personal experience. I just had an idea. So since there's kind of a rough parking and we're on a busy street, what I'm gonna do is bring my trailer in right here, make sure I don't run over that sprinkler irrigation cover. There we go, guys, another one in the books. I'm off to seek another project. We got a whole bed full of grass. We got to get out of here because we're on a busy street. Too many cars driving by, but I'm glad we were able to help out this homeowner. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Man, it looks amazing. And honestly, it was a pretty small one, but with the amount of grass that we hauled away and cut, it's not only nice looking, but it's easy to maintain as well. So I told the homeowner, hey, it's gonna be easy to maintain. Hopefully it doesn't grow out as much, but you should be good for the summertime. So she also told me that I believe her brother-in-law trims those bushes. That's why, like, at the end of it, I was like, man, it looks pretty nice and trimmed. They look manicured. So looks like someone took care of them, and I was right. So we didn't do anything with the bushes, but again, they look nice. They didn't really need anything. So I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, comment down below. I love reading you guys' comments. If you haven't subscribed already, subscribe to the channel. It really does help us out. I know I look like a mess right now. I do need a shave. Sorry about that. I promise you I will get a haircut and a shave. I just been working like a dog. All right. Thank you again so much. Take care. God bless you. We'll see you in the next one, and enjoy these before and after pictures.